Hello and good evening, good afternoon, and wherever you're watching from. I'm Nashley. If you really don't know my name, I'm excited to be here again tonight. And I thought I'll come with a very interesting topic. Or today, it's just been going through my head, and I thought let me come in and talk about it because we can only share things that we know, right? Or things that you've had experience with. And one thing that's hitting quite close to me right now is how there's I'd like to say maybe there's two different types of people. Okay, in my world, there's two different types of people. Now, between the two type of different types of people, there are those people who are used to the routines. They're used to their schedules. They're used to things that they do every day. Their day is pretty much set in routines and in places that they pretty much, you say, okay, this is what I do, and nothing else is different. And most of these people are used to things that they now are known to say, look, my day is set this way, and this is all it will ever be. No matter how hard their day goes, no matter how bad they feel about either if it's a job they go for, if it's just existing in places that they really feel uncomfortable staying in, they still pretty much turn up. They still give their all to it, even though they're struggling, even though sometimes financially or even mentally they might not be there. They still say, look, I gotta go because that's all I can do. I've met people that I've come across, and sometimes all they tell me is, look, this is the life. I mean, it's the norm. It's what else can I do? That's the life. That is the way life is just is. And I thought every time someone says that statement, I always beg to differ because there's also now your second kind of people that, you wake up to smell a new kind of environment, a new kind of coffee where you think, look, I've been living this life that every day I rock up to a place that I don't feel like I fit in anymore. I feel like the people that are there are no longer my kind of people and not crew. And you shouldn't really feel bad about that you've changed or you've evolved enough to not fit in with certain people because life is just that way. Sometimes there are people you grow up with, and then along the way, you find that sometimes you just don't fit into, the person you've become or you are becoming. So you quickly realize, look, I'm that new person, and I feel like I could have new circles that support the person I'm becoming and help me build. You cannot stay the same. We are meant to change. We are humans. A lot of it that happen, you've got control, and you always sometimes underestimate sometimes the amount of energy and a lot of personality that goes into each and every one of us. So sometimes you find yourself thinking, well, look, if I quit this job, if it's job you hate, I don't think I'll find another job, or I just can't make it to start a new resume. And I've maybe worked in this same place for the last 10, 15 years. So for me to start finding or looking for something else now, it might feel like I've actually done wrong for the people I've worked for. You do not owe anyone anything. If there's anything I've learned, you do not owe anyone anything. You have yourself to thank, you've got yourself to back up, and you don't need to be apologizing for it. Certain spaces don't feel right for you, certain spaces don't support your personal growth or the person you are becoming. Move. I personally refuse to struggle. I refuse to stay small for people, to make people around me to feel better, to make people around me to feel like I'm the Nashley that they grew up knowing or the person that they want me to be. I simply just can't do it. It's within my every right and everything that has got in my chest that I just can't be the same person. There are things that I've done maybe in the last 10 years, even more. I feel like this is just not me. It's not cutting it, it's not doing it. I feel strongly about it that it even makes me wanna, just chuck because you're like, look, it makes me sick to think of I have to still do this because you feel like you've changed. You feel like some things are just not where they were, not 5 years ago, not a year ago. I just wanted that change. I wanted a move, but I tell myself each day that whatever direction that it is, I've had plenty of amazing experiences in different places, in different moments, learning through different people. But in each one, I believe it's brought me to where I am today. And I do know that I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to feel small. I don't want to be made to feel like I owe anybody anything, because it's all up to me. I have whatever it takes to grow. I have whatever it takes to become that version of myself that I'm building towards in 2026. But I just can't tell myself to say you stay the same to make everyone else feel okay. You've got to change that narrative about how people feel about you coming online. If it's showing things that, for instance, in this case, me coming online, I've always told myself, oh God, how what am I possibly able to say in front of people? But some things it goes through my head, and if I don't speak it, it only ever exists in my head. It's almost like it never happened. But if I come on and share, if it's something that someone else feels the same about, I'm sure many people feel that way, because sometimes people just are quick to think of certain things and never act on their action, and never act on their emotions, and never act on their desires, their goals, their personal growth. It costs them everything to keep just doing the same thing because they feel it's the right thing to do. But I'm here today to just say, what if it could be different? What if where you've caged yourself is not really as cagey as it is? What if there's a bigger space that we could exist in? What if that what if that one place you keep going to, what if you leave that space and become the other version of you that you are desiring to be, that you are looking forward to having, or you wish to experience, and you don't have to be in this cage that you've sort of built your walls around you? And what if perhaps starting to network, if it's a thing that you're knowing that it's definitely a whole lot of different ball game altogether, and it means knowing new people, meeting new colleagues, or meeting new business partners. What is so scary that keeps you doing that same thing you do every day, even though it makes you want to grind your teeth, even though it makes you you know want to feel sick to the stomach, to the gut, where you're like, I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. What if it's just that one step you need to take to that then live that different version of a life that you would then be filled with a lot more joy, a lot more expression of freedom in terms of being able to go where you like, being able to have time more with my family, being able to even just stay in the same place with your parents or your kids, and not you having to go and work away. And instead, you want to keep yourself in this space where you're comfortable because you applied for this job 10, 15 years ago, and it only feels right for you to stay in this place. I do find that quite cagey. Don't keep shackles around your feet, around your hands, because there's more to life than just that one small thing or one small change that you could change. And you don't have to have a lot of things to make any drastic changes in your life. Sometimes all it takes is starting with one step that leads you towards a better future, one step that leads you towards the version of yourself that you intended to be, the vision that you know that I'm just no longer this person that I am today. And you need that expression expressed out more than you've ever been holding it in. A space where we all have a say, and you don't feel like you should be penalized because everyone's feelings is valid. Everyone's feeling, for whatever reason that you might feel like in certain spaces you don't exist. You're not meant to exist to the same people or the same crowds, and you just need people who are new, who are inspiring, who are helpful in your journey as a person to grow. Then why is it so bad to look at that option? Why is it so bad to not express and live that truth? Because it becomes a reality that you create. It becomes a book that you write. It becomes a chapter that you start narrating, for from now until goodness knows when. But don't you think that is all worth it? if it means it brings about the version of the person you want to be, the version of the person that, will probably be a very good example to, if you have kids, if you have people who look up to you, they just see you grow as a person, and it signals and symbols a lot of more than you ever can think that it would have given someone who's expecting or hoping for that one step further out of their comfort zone. Because sometimes it pays just to be uncomfortable. It pays to be, not in your usual, kind of thing, because you get reluctant, you get to feel too comfortable, you don't want to express anything, you feel like you know everything already, so you stop changing, you stop evolving. And sometimes change is necessary if it works in your favor, if it works to promote the person you are building in the year 2026, then I think it's every other reason to be able to take that next step. It could simply just be that you want to look at the business, a business you've never looked into, a business you have no idea how to start. But then what if you have people who are there along the way to help you? People who make a difference in your journey and help you to build that new version of the person you want to be. So all these are things that I take away. I've learned through my 2025, and it's giving me so much comfort, so much joy in knowing that truly I do not have to stay the same. I do not have to stay in a I do not have to stay in a certain industry because that's all I knew. I can still change. I'm here now. I don't have to wait on time because time keeps moving. But if it means that I allow myself to move along with the times, it does not matter at whatever age you started. You still have something to start at. If it's your finances not adding up, why not start something? If it's cutting out certain credit cards, if it's cutting out certain subscriptions to bring you about to the level you want to be at, and level out those, moments where you then can start setting your life in a more good, better balance, less stressful, and more peace, more joy. That is worth more than gold for many people. For me, I know for a fact I didn't want to struggle. I refused to struggle. I refused to let struggle look like it's the new fashion. I refuse to think that working tirelessly around the clock is indeed working so hard and worth it of my time to spend entirely at work. Work for things that gives you back your time, things that matter to you, things that um, just make you feel alive. Don't let your passion die down because you simply have wasted so much time away at things that are always taxing in your life. They take and take and take, and you forever never feel like you're gonna ever get. No time back to yourself, no time back just to breathe, just to relax, just to enjoy time of Christmas or New Year with your family. Now, for this year, focus on yourself maybe. For once, think of what that might mean to you, to your family, or simply to just reflect. Have time to yourself because that's just as important. It gives you time to think, you grow, and you keep growing, and you don't stop there. You keep going, and that should be your takeaway for today. I've shared a fair bit tonight, probably more than I wanted to. But I thank you for tuning in, those who are watching or those who are gonna watch later this live. And I will catch you guys in the next video. And happy holidays. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.